Hello, all my joyful creators, and welcome to Wednesday on the Hook. My name is Cynthia with Cynthia's Joyful Creations, and here is our little ladybug friend. She is the angel that gives us 1 hour of free crochet. So as we get started, I am going to go ahead and lotion my hands up so they are nice and moisturized and hydrated to crochet. That was a little bit loud. And while I am rubbing this in really good, let me just get you caught up on a few things. So this video is obviously coming to you late today, and I deeply apologize for that. Yesterday was a big day. I ended up being gone 12 hours to do 3 doctor appointments and dinner with a friend. And so, needless to say, when I got home, I was extremely exhausted, tired, legs a little swollen from not having been propped up at all yesterday. And so, took a little bit of today to recover from that. But with all that being said, really good report. Spine is healing like it should be. Praise the Lord for that. He has given me a little bit more time to recover, so I will return to him on June 8th. So continuing everything as I have been until then. And my PCP said that all of my diabetic levels, my A1C was absolutely amazing, and I was so happy to hear that, because throughout this journey of having back surgery and losing the mobility of my leg, I have been always at the mercy of others on my diet. And so I didn't necessarily eat the things that I always normally would. I've had a lot more food that, doctors would cringe at for a diabetic to eat, but apparently they've done me well, because I had my best results yet. And I have been on this diabetes journey. I just went through my 5th year. So, yeah, I just had my 5th anniversary, February the 14th, as a matter of fact. So, always been an easy date for me to remember when my diabetic journey began, because it was Valentine's. But yeah, so I was happy about that. Went to the eye doctor, and my eyes are wonderful. He said that my eyes were young and no cataracts, no sign of glaucoma, anything, slight stigmatism. But other than that, I mean, my eyes are great. So have new glasses that will be coming and will be here in a couple weeks. So what a great day yesterday was. And then we ended it out getting to eat with a dear friend of mine, Melinda, who I have known since I was 6 years old. We grew up in church together. We go to Women of Joy together every year. And so it was nice to have an evening out with her and her mom. And so, yeah, I didn't get this video recorded yesterday, and therefore did not get it, edited and processed to get it up on time for today. So I was going to do a live, but unfortunately, I have been on and off the phone all afternoon. So this is the first quiet moment I've had to do this. So we're going to get it done. I will apologize, because I know somewhere before this video is up, my sweet dear husband, Mr. Joyful, will be calling on his way home. So I will pause the video briefly to take that call, because y'all know how much I love that phone call from him every single day. It is the absolute highlight of my day. It is the one moment I look forward to. So, shall we get started? And that way you guys can get this video sometime today. So what am I working on? I am trying to finish up, and I'm pretty sure I've already shown you this blanket. And let me take my brakes off so I can back up here a minute. This is the baby blanket that I am working on. All of this is yarn from Crochet Society boxes, and I have decided to put it together and create a nice, colorful, playful baby blanket out of it. So I'm going to be working on that today. Now, all of this yarn as I said, was from Crochet Society. So it was all Bella CoCo yarn, except the color that I'm adding now. There was not any lavender purple color in any of that yarn. And so I wanted just a little bit of purple in it because that is, after all, my favorite color. And so I got something that was very similar to, you know, the texture and the quality of the yarn. And it is this Bamboo Joy. Now the Bella CoCo yarn that I was using was a medium weight 4, and this is a light medium 3. So if I just continue doing the half double crochet stitches, because that's all I've done is half double crochet stitches on this entire blanket. If I continued that, as you can see right there on this first row of purple, it made those stitches very, very tiny and very holy. So rather than frogging it, taking it all out, because I don't think it makes that big of a difference. You can't see it as well. I mean, like, it doesn't like stand out, so it wasn't worth frogging and doing over. But going forward, I am doing basically what you would call a half double crochet decrease, but in the same stitch instead of over 2 stitches, so that it gives it that nice little thick stitch and matches the stitches below. So if I were to even per se fold that down to compare it, they're very similar. So I'll just show you real quick what I'm doing. Got to get my yarn out from under my blanket. So to do that, of course, I yarn over to do a half double crochet, and I go in and pull up a loop, my 3 loops on the hook, and then I yarn over and I pull through 2, leaving 2 on the hook. Then I yarn over, and normally with a half double crochet decrease you would go into the next stitch, but I go right back into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That leaves 3 on the hook, and then I yarn over and pull through all 3. And see how it gives me that nice thick stitch. So it kind of makes it look like it's still the medium 4-weight yarn. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm gonna work on today. So I hope all of you are having a wonderful day and a joyful week. I know that I am so far, and I am trying to get lots of WIPs finished up, which I have done, and I was able to show you guys a good many of those last Friday when we were together on Cup to Hook Conversation. And I'm trying to get some videos done, since I knew yesterday I definitely wouldn't be able to work on any. And this Friday we are going to help move my husband's grandmother out of the nursing home. She's going to go live with my husband's cousin, which will be grandmama's granddaughter. And so my husband and his brother Sam and my husband's cousin Karen and her husband Philip are all going to be actually packing up grandmama and moving her out. And unfortunately, I get to sit up under a tree and crochet. Now, I say unfortunately because I love grandmama dearly, and I've always played a part in helping her get moved, and to not be able to do that this time, it's sad, but I know that, you know, I have to be careful, and I can't do that this time. So the fortunate part of my unfortunateness is that I do get to sit and crochet. So I am trying to think about what yarn I want to take with me, and do I want to finish up a WIP? Do I want to start a new project? I don't know. So I've got the rest of today and tomorrow to get that decided and figured out so I can get it packed up. Because yes, I'm one of those. I like to be prepared and I plan ahead, and if we have to leave at a certain time, then I like to leave on time or even a little bit earlier. Doesn't always happen, but that has always been the way I like to roll. That is me. So what are you drinking today? I have in my cup some herbal tea, and I'll be honest, I don't know what flavor it is. It's really good though. Mr. Joyful has been helping me a lot. And it tastes almost like my apple cinnamon, but which is my absolute favorite. But it seems like the cinnamon is really strong in it. And I know he had purchased some other herbal tea that had like cinnamon and ginger in it and lemon and pomegranate. It was like a mixture. So I'm thinking that it might be that one because I would know my apple cinnamon. I've been drinking that tea for 30 years. I don't know why I do that. I always say fur. It's for. Must be a southern thing. We slur our words. Oh. So what are you drinking today? And even more exciting, what are you working on? I always look forward to that too, to see what you've chosen to do. I know that I had shared at one point in time with this blanket that I've been thinking about trying to add an applique to it, and I do have a little bit of yarn left over in some of the skeins. So I'm thinking about creating a lovey to go with this blanket, because most of this yarn is my stay-at-home yarn collection from Crochet Society. So that was the box, the big box that I received right when, you know, COVID hit and they weren't able to get out the boxes that they had originally intended because of, you know, getting some of the items that were going to be in the boxes, and then shipping was crazy and all of that. Crazy not necessarily in pricing, but crazy as in deliveries. You know, there was like a hold for a while, and it was really hard to get things in and out of the UK, which is where the Crochet Society box comes from. And so they created this stay-at-home box, and it had a lot of yarn in it. And so that's where the majority of this Crochet Society yarn has come from. So this is kind of a special blanket in a way. And I definitely want to utilize all of the yarn. So what better way than to create a matching lovey to go with it? So I think that's what I'm going to do. If I thought I would have enough yarn, I would make a matching caterpillar to go with it. But I don't know. I'll just have to see when I'm done. This lavender is the last color that I am adding on to this blanket, and then I will put a border on it, and that will finish this blanket. Now this purple is taking a while because I'm basically, in a sense, doing 2 stitches in one. So, but that's okay, because it's well worth it to have the weight of the stitches matched throughout the whole blanket. And I get to have the purple in it. Sometimes I forget though, and I try to do 2 half double crochets in each stitch, so luckily each time I have mistakenly done that, I've caught myself. Another interesting thing is, what is the weather like for everyone? Because I know that it has been so crazy lately. Where is our spring? And, you know, are we going to have summer? Is this going to call for a hot summer for many of us? It's interesting what is going on. It's like winter has repeated itself. It has been getting up in the 80s here, which is fantastic. However, there's still a wind blowing, so really it doesn't feel completely warm. Now, some people may disagree with me. You know, I'm always cold, but I'm still the one that sits around with the little mini heater on me. My husband can be sitting there in shorts and a t-shirt, even maybe without a shirt, and he's burning up, and I'm over there under a blanket and that little heater going. So it is what it is. I just seem to always be cold. But I can remember working at a camp in the summer, and you know, I would often wear shorts, but I would wear sweatshirts as well. And so I was that weirdo kid. I'm just always cold. But then, you know, I am on some medication with my diabetes that also thins the blood out a little bit, so I tend to be cold from that as well. But in general, I just have always been on the cold side. Somebody posted a video for me to watch, and I am so excited about that. I am actually thinking about doing something new to help out some of my fellow content creators. Some of them will not need my help. Others, I hope that it will be helpful for them, but I'm really excited about it. It won't start until May, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not going to make any commitments with it because I don't want to put any more pressure on me, because I'm already doing videos every day. But I think it will be fun, and it will even help you guys out as well to learn about some channels, and maybe there's some that you already know about. And if so, then you can get your friends to continue to help support them, because that's what it's all about, you guys. Just being there for one another and helping each other out. And just, as I once told someone, you know, find your joy, share your joy, and just be the joy. Oh, and speaking about winter and all of that, let me share a card really quick. I wondered where I would share this, and this seems like the perfect time. And I might even share it again on Cup to Hook Conversations next week. But let me get it real quick. You know, my sweet Aunt Sonny, her name's Sandra, she has faithfully been sending me cards to kind of encourage me through my recovery, and I am so blessed by her always. But And I love the fact, I don't even know if she intentionally tries to do this, but a lot of her cards just seem to have butterflies on them, you guys. And you know, I'm a big butterfly fanatic. I love butterflies. They're just so freeing and so joyful. But anyway, yeah, it's a really sweet card. But it's the story on the back that I fell so in love with. So let me share this with you. And it's called God's Reminder. And it says, and this actually was in Guidepost in 2020. And it's by Penny Schwab. That's her name right there. Let's see. Let me help. Bear with me. There we go. Now let's bring this focus up here. So you can, there we go. Okay. Now, am I blurry? Did I get all blurry on y'all? Maybe a little bit. So let me fix it back. Okay. So this is a really cool story. It's called God's Reminder. The Kansas winter was mild last year, and I was delighted when signs of spring appeared in March. Many of my friends had been ill this winter, so I had stayed home and was feeling isolated. I missed my active life, especially worshiping and fellowshipping at church. It seemed as though the main bright spot in my yard and my life were the trees and flowers in front of the house. I enjoyed watching the first daffodils appear, the little almond tree bud, and the slender flax stems emerge from bare soil. The pansies, my favorites, were tiny but already colorful. Then winter abruptly returned with a 20-degree night and light freezing mist. The daffodils drooped, the almond buds froze, and the flax wilted. But to my amazement, the pansies were bravely and beautifully alive. The sun shone down on their ice-coated petals, making them shimmer and sparkle like diamonds. Their radiant purple, pink, and yellow blossoms, nestled in dark green leaves, were the loveliest they'd ever been. These flowers and the other new growth in my front yard were sent from God, His special gift to remind me that even though spring may be delayed, it always follows winter. Just as God always walks with me through dark times when I await the sunny days that bring green leaf trees, flowers in full bloom, and an active life. And I thought that was so cool and so appropriate, because that's kind of how I felt. You know, it's like winter already served its time. Why is it coming back? But throughout of it, God has always given us blessings. And the sun just went down, so it just got kind of dark in here. But I actually can see a little bit better because that sun is not right in my face. But I thought that was a cool little story. So we have about 7 more minutes, because I always wait till the half hour that we have been hanging out to bring about a question. And it's a good one today. I am really, really excited. And this one will be fun to read everyone's answers. And I hope that you enjoy these questions as well. You seem to, because many of you actually respond and answer them. And that's the fun part about waiting till the half-hour mark, because, and I certainly get it and understand, if you don't want to sit and hang out the first half, you can always come pop in at the second half and have our question time. And again, this is a video I would really like to start going live with, and really had anticipated on doing that today. Even though I like to be consistent, and I don't know what the future holds and what my job status will be and what my work hours will be. But I thought, you know what, why not go live, and you know, we'll just make the most of it when that time comes. But then it didn't happen, so I don't know. Maybe it's meant to be a recorded live. I guess we'll wait and see what next Wednesday brings. So let me know. If I did do this, I will come back with that question. That is Mr. Joyful. And I'll be right back and we'll have that question and our question for the day. Let me give this a brief pause. All right. Mr. Joyful said to tell everyone hello, and if we are still together when he comes in, he said that he would pop in and say hello. Okay, so now I was getting ready to ask you a question. Not our topic question, but what was it? Oh, so the question was going to be, if I did these as a live for now, you know, over the next couple weeks that I know that I'm home, still recovering, they would air at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So when you leave your comments to your questions, let me know. Would that time be good for many of you for a live? And if not, then we'll know that we need to keep these as a recorded video. And if so, then we can take these live, and then those that can't join us, then they can enjoy the replay. So just give me some feedback. Let me know. I did it again. I did a half double crochet. Oh, I guess you guys can't even see what I'm doing. That's no fun. I didn't even pay attention to that all this time. I apologize. So let's see if I can tilt this down just a little bit. It's going to cut my head off some, but that's all right. So, oh yeah, now you can see. I am so sorry, you guys. Well, it just goes to show you I haven't really been sitting here staring at myself on the computer. So we have 2 minutes until we are officially at our halfway, and we'll ask the question. I'm really excited. This is a good one. This one's going to make us think. I'm doing it again. The one good thing that helps me catch it is when I go to finish the stitch, if I don't have 3 loops left, I know I didn't do it right. So at least my brain is able to catch that and compute that. But usually I get going and it happens. It works out. But every now and then I resort back to what feels natural and doing the actual half double crochet as it should be done. But yeah, it's so pretty. And I mean, it does look a little bit like a different stitch, but I like that, you know? I mean, I only came up with that to create the thickness, but that's actually a really pretty, that's really a pretty stitch. I may have to do another blanket like that, especially if it's a medium lightweight 3. Although it would be kind of a little bit of a yarn eater, but, and I would only imagine that it would probably be that pretty with the lighter weight yarn. I think with the thicker medium 4 or, you know, anything heavier, it may not come out as dainty looking. But I'll never know until I try. But That's something else too. You can give me your opinion on, you know, what do you think about that? And from your eye view, does it seem to give that same full stitch that the 4, you know, medium weight yarn did? Looking at those stitches, I mean, I can tell that that is a different stitch. You can still see the sun coming through here across my face, but and I'll hold it back up, but you can kind of see that it is a little bit of a different stitch than what you're seeing in this, but I think it still gives it the thickness needed to still keep it uniformed. So tell me what you think. Oh, my hair, you guys. I need a haircut worse than bad, but I can't get into my hairdresser's place because it's a huge step up. But Todd did tell me if I tried to make an appointment that he thinks that we would be able to do it, even if we took the I can't remember what it's called now. It's a special belt that he would put around my waist that he could use to help lift me up. They used it on me when I first started trying to walk. I can't remember. It's a specific name for it. But anyway. So I am going to try and see if I can get a hair appointment. My bangs are as long as are all the way down to my chin, which is why I've got it pulled back today, because it just hangs and it's just so awful. So straight. And I have naturally curly hair, but the longer it gets and the more heavier it gets and the weighted it gets, it tends to come out straight. And I've been using some new shampoo and conditioner and a leave-in conditioner, and that seems to help keep back on the frizzing, which is really great because nobody likes frizzing or likes frizzy hair. But I did put a little bit of curl in it today, just to kind of give it a little bit of, so, okay. It is time for our question. Are you ready? So, our question for today is, what is the weirdest or oddest thing you have ever eaten, and did you like it? What is the weirdest or oddest thing that you have ever eaten, and did you like it? Well, this was a quick, easy answer for me. But before I give you my answer, I am going to tell you about probably the weirdest thing a friend of mine ate. I have a good friend named Carlton, and he was a missionary to the Philippines. And one of their delicacies is called baluk, B-A-L-U-K. And it's basically an underdeveloped egg. So it has like a baby chick in it, with the feathers and the beak and the feet and ugh. And it's a big thing for you to eat that when you're in the Philippines. And it's kind of like dishonoring them if you don't eat it and try it at least once. And he said it was very hard for him. And he did not like it. And I don't imagine I would have either. And then I used to be a really big Fear Factor fan when Fear Factor was on. Oh my goodness. It never failed. It seemed like every season they would have somebody eat a Madagascar hissing cockroach. I can't even stand to see them wiggle and move. There's no way in the world of culinary anything that I would ever eat one of them. And yet, in some places, they're a delicacy. Now, I'm all for trying new things. But there's some things I just have to draw a line. I have goosebumps, and it's not because I'm cold, it's just thinking about it. Ugh. I mean, it's just like, you know, some people love venison and other people just, they cannot handle it. Me, it depends on how it's prepped. Must be something about that mark, because every time it gets to that point, my little, it does a little tiny ring. Wonder if that, let me see. According to the timer, it says we have about 23 minutes left. So I'll have to keep an eye and see if at 24 minutes left it does that little ring, or where it does that little ring each week, because it does that. But what about you? Do you like venison? As I said, to me it depends on how it's prepped. If it's prepped very, very well and you get a lot of the gamey taste out of it, I do really enjoy it, and it's really good for you. You know, if you can get past the whole killing Bambi thing, because I know that's a thing for some people. But it is really good. I love deer jerky. That's some of my favorite. And I've made homemade deer jerky. In fact, I love making beef jerky, and I love eating it. It's so expensive in the stores. It's so much cheaper to make your own. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I can make a video one day showing y'all how I make my beef jerky on one of my Joyful Life segments. Mr. Joyful and I, you know, before this, we used to, and before I worked jobs that, you know, tend to keep us apart. But, and that's one thing I have decided, that if I do have to look for a new job, I am definitely going to look for one that gives us the same time off. But we love cooking together, but we love baking. So Yes, I'm stalling on my answer. I'll give it to you in just a few minutes. I do find it funny that, I just did it again, that there are some things that I did not like eating as a child that I love eating as an adult. Some of those are beef stew. I did not like eating beef stew as a child. But as an adult, I absolutely love it. I did not like egg rolls as a child. But as an adult, I love egg rolls. What is something I liked as a child that I don't like now? Because you know, they say your taste buds change. Oh, I know one. As a child, I used to love Vienna sausages and like cocktail smokies. But as an adult, I do not like them. As a child, I did not like chicken salad sandwiches, but as an adult, I do. I do love buttered macaroni and spaghetti and lasagna, but as a whole, I'm not a very big pasta eater. I don't really like a lot of pasta, and I don't really like a lot of breads. You guys, Mr. Joyful, he is a pasta bread eating fool. And I say full in a good way. Like, that man loves his pastas and he loves his breads. And don't get me wrong, I love a good bread. I love homemade bread. In fact, I love making homemade bread. I just, as a whole, you know, I don't like it with every meal. And, you know, he does a lot of the cooking right now, so he likes making a lot of dishes with rice and pasta. And I don't know, maybe it's all the starch in it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a big starch eater. But, and I know as a diabetic I have to be careful anyway, but my favorite way to eat noodles is buttered macaroni. And of course it would have to have a lot of butter on it and lots of pepper. I love pepper on everything. So, and I used to eat a lot of steak, but it's been a really long time since I have had a steak. Like, I'm talking, you know, a couple years. Most of the time when I go to restaurants, I tend to get grilled chicken or grilled shrimp. Those are a lot of my go-to meat staples. I love vegetables. Like, there's very few and far between vegetables that I will not eat. Sadie's right outside the studio. She's saying hello to everyone. Our little joyful dog. She also knows it's time for her daddy to be coming home. And he's a good hunter. He either brings in good smelling food or he comes home and goes to that room that she can't go into. And he does some good hunting. That's how he calls it. That's how he talks. He's like, "Oh, mommy and daddy are doing some good hunting." They have great hunting skills. Do we? Do we have good hunting skills? I don't know if y'all can hear her or not. All right, so we have about 15 minutes left. So here is my answer to what is the weirdest and oddest thing I've ever eaten, and did I like it? So my oldest son, Isaac, is 26, and when he graduated from high school, we went to a restaurant called the Flaming Grill, and it is a buffet and hibachi type grill place, and they serve mostly all kinds of different Chinese food, but they also have American food on there, and then they have, you know, like pizza for kids and whatnot. Then they have the hibachi grill, and they have, you know, sushi, both raw and cooked. And then they have, you know, a fairly nice sized dessert bar and a salad bar and ice cream and one of those chocolate fountains. And so it's a really nice little restaurant. So we went there when Isaac graduated from high school for his graduation dinner. And usually they don't have, like, you know, a lot of exotic things in there. The most exotic thing you would find would be in some of your raw sushi, which I'm not a big raw sushi eater. I do like sushi, but all mine's cooked. Like, it mostly has like cucumbers and sour cream. You know, I think the closest I've come to eating anything raw is raw tuna, but I'm not a big raw person ever. So, anyway, on the salad bar, they had little miniature, they were probably the octopuses. The head was probably about so round, okay? And it had these little, you know, the legs sticking off of it, and they had little tiny suction cups on them. And he and I were getting salad, Isaac and I. Everybody else was, you know, at other bar stations getting food. And I looked at him and he looked at me, and it was like, what? And he dared me. He's like, I will if you will. And I was like, okay. So we each put one on our plate. And we went and sat down, and oh my gosh, I was like, what have I done? But like I said, I mean, I'm game to give things a try, you know. And so he just pops the whole thing in his mouth. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't do that. So I tried just taking a little bite. He ate the whole thing, swallowed it, everything. I took a bite and I started chewing, and I couldn't do it. I had to politely spit it out in my napkin. So the weirdest and oddest thing I've ever eaten is a miniature octopus, and I don't even know if you can say that because I only ate a very, very small portion of it, and I didn't actually swallow it. So so yeah, I can tell my husband's home. He's outside the window teasing Sadie. That's why you hear her. And he's going, hey, kitty, 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 kitties. He's teasing them. I think he's at the door now. We have a closed-in porch on the front and back of our house, but he's on the porch and he's standing at the door. I can hear him. So you're going to hear her. But, yep, mine was octopus. So what was yours? What is the weirdest and oddest thing that you have ever eaten, and did you like it? He must be playing with them at the door because he's not come in. I'm not the only one that looks forward to him coming home. And what's even funnier is he always teases Sadie. He'll come in and he'll give me a hug and says, Mama gets the first hug, and she just goes crazy. And he's like, well, she was my first girl. Oh, I wish you could see them. They're just like sitting on edge, ears standing straight up, panting, waiting for the door to open. Now you hear Tails thumping the door. And he has been bombarded.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, she got lucky. She got the first hug today. She got the first hug. He took him outside. There's Mr. Joyful.
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, those babies are not loved. I tell you what. Y'all gonna have to turn us in for being horrible, horrible people. We don't love them. We don't spoil them. Oh, y'all already know better if you watch the My Joyful segment on Sadie and Mackenzie, which I will be putting out a new video because the one I put out did not process in its entirety, and so it skipped some. And the reason I didn't change it right away is because there was at that time a giveaway at the end of it. And of course that giveaway has ended, and Bree from Bree's Little Crochet Corner, or Bree's Crochet Corner, I'm so used to just calling her Bree. I always mess up on her channel name. I love you, Bree, and you know that. But I'm sorry. But she won, and she got her package this past Monday, which would be 2 days ago. And so she said she was excited to get into that yarn and make something. And anyway, so now that that giveaway is over, I am going to get that video. I'm going to take that one down and put another one up that is complete, because when I was editing that one, there was a lot going on. We had a bad storm going on outside, and we lost power, and I think in doing that it interrupted the video, and I should have checked it before I put it up, and I didn't, and I apologize for that. But I was wanting to get it up quickly because of the fact that there was a giveaway on the end of it, and yeah, I wanted to get that out there. So, but yeah, if you see that video, you'll know just how unloved those fur babies are. So I am looking forward to hearing your answers about the weirdest thing you've ever eaten, and if you liked it. That's probably another one of the things I really like about this little segment that we do with Wednesday on the Hook now is not only getting to crochet, you know, and just crochet for an hour, but I love these little questions, you know, and getting to know people and hearing their stories. And yeah, people fascinate me, and I love hearing people's stories. I've often been told I'm a great storyteller, but oddly enough, I love being quiet and listening and allowing other people to tell their stories and listening to what they have to say. I'm excited, even though I have to do almost, well, not almost, but I am doing 2 stitches basically in 1 stitch. I still accomplished a good bit today. That is exciting. So maybe this week I can get this purple done, and next week when we're together I can get the border on it, and that'll give me some time to think about how I want to do a lovey, because I have decided I'm going to do a lovey with this blanket, because I definitely want to use up the rest of the yarn. I do keep my scraps, but I won't go into that because maybe that'll be a question we have for another day. But since I have quite a bit left over from some of the skeins, it would match the blanket, and that would make it even more special. So I definitely am going to make a lovey. I've only made a lovey once before in my life, and I had just started crocheting, and I made it for a friend who was having a little girl, and it was obvious that I was an inexperienced crocheter, and it was the first time I'd ever attempted something like that. So it'll be exciting to see if I've grown and how it comes out. I'm trying to get down to the end of this row, but I don't know if I'll have enough time, especially doing 2 stitches in each stitch. Mr. Joyful was going to go by and check my P.O. box yesterday, and he forgot. I fell asleep on the way home, so I wasn't able to remind him. And he was going to go today, but I'm thinking that maybe he didn't, because if I had anything, he'd have brought it in. But, you know, there's nothing to say that he did and I don't have anything. But usually there's always some kind of flyer in there. I've had that P.O. box for a year now, and I still get mail from the previous 2 owners of that P.O. box. So there's always something in there. A lot of times it's just junk mail, but so I'm interested to see what you worked on today, what was on your hook, and about the weirdest thing you've ever eaten. Oh, I'm so excited. Wasn't that a good question? Of course, you say that, I say that, and there's our time, and I have a knot I'm trying to get out. And maybe you've not eaten anything really weird. that's not, you know, normal food. Surely there's been something you've tried. And if there's not anything really weird that you can think of, then tell me something you just absolutely cannot stand to eat. You know, I shared some of mine and I cannot see, so I've got to take my glasses off to get this knot out. That's the only bad thing about working with, you know, the smaller, thinner weight yarns, is when they decide to knot up, oh my goodness. They knot up. But luckily for me, I enjoy the challenge of things like that. Like I have friends that, you know, their necklaces will get all tangled up, you know, the chain will, and it just drives them crazy. And I'm like, oh, bring it to me. I love to get those undone. They call me crazy, but there we go. Knot is out. All right. Well, I hope that you were able to accomplish a good bit on whatever project you were working on. And as always, this time together is very laid back. There will be no editing in this video because it is as it was and as it is. This is just us hanging out, just crocheting. So whatever happens, happens. And that's how life is, you know. I mean, I'm sure many of us would love to have a rewind or an edit button on life, but we don't. So this is the real deal. And you got a little bit of me, and you got a little bit of Todd, and you got a little bit of Sadie and Mackenzie today. So you got a little bit of our whole little family. All while we got to crochet. Okay, everyone, I'm going to finish this stitch right here. And so look how much I got done today. I feel good. I love that. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows done. So that means when I finish this row, I only have 5 more rows to do to keep the color, you know, block the same amount. So basically you helped me get to the halfway point with this purple color. So I definitely should be able to finish this purple and be able to work on the border with you next Wednesday. Until then, stay safe, everyone. Love one another. Be joyful. Stay crafty in your own way and make your own joyful creations. I love you so much. Bye, everyone.